Hi Scorpio, my name is Gregory Scott. Thank you for joining me. This is your astrology forecast for July 2015, and I'm going to do a really in-depth kind of astrological prediction forecast for you for this month. I'm not going to draw a tarot card. I'm literally going to look at the planets, the luminaries, how they interact with each other, what aspects they make, and how that's going to affect you. So to get started straight away, on the 1st of July, you really start the month off with something quite significant because you have a T-square in your chart. A T-square is a formation which consists of an opposition, two planets being 180 degrees apart from each other and kind of doing this with each other, creating tension and friction. And then you've got two squares which present the outcome, the solution to that problem. The friction is between your moon in your first house, in your third house, in Capricorn, and your sun in Cancer in your ninth house. So the friction is really about how am I communicating right now, and what do I need to incorporate, what do I need to add to the way I present myself, the way I communicate. What is it that I need to learn to be a more loving person, to be a more informed person, to be a more kind of outward looking and less blinkered person? And the answer to that is to have a spiritual practice which allows you to connect with the bigger picture, the greater reality, rather than just your own ideas, your own opinions, your own life experience. So prayer, meditation, all of those things are really great at connecting you with something bigger than yourself. And I really feel that within you, Scorpio, there's a sense of striving towards achieving something greater or becoming something greater than you are today. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, but it just means that you're willing to become better, to learn more, to grow more. Your ascendant, the way you see yourself, is in Virgo in your 11th house. And that indicates to me that you're actively working on realizing your hopes and dreams. And that squares, so it's 90 degrees away from your midheaven, which is in Gemini in your 8th. And that indicates to me that there's work to be done for you in what you work. No, I haven't said that properly. Basically, you're working very hard to realize your hopes and dreams in terms of your work potential. I don't think you're quite happy with the job that you do at the moment. I don't think you're there, or I don't think you are where you want to be. And I think you're actively trying to find ways of improving. So whether that's getting a promotion, improving your skills, learning new things, but that is your focus at the beginning of the month. And I really applaud that. And I really think that if you communicate and learn, there are lots of opportunities that you will discover on the 1st, which will help you progress in your career. Mercury, the planet of communication, also sextiles Uranus at this time, and it does that between the 30th of June through until the 4th of July, so the beginning of the month again, okay? And what that means is that the information that you discover right now, the research that you do, can be hugely productive and can open huge doors of opportunity, major doors of opportunity for you in your working life. So really do your research, find out, speak to people, discover what other options there are, speak to your boss, go on the internal kind of job listings website, look in your newspaper to find what other opportunities there are for you. But really, between the 30th and the 4th, there is information that becomes available to you that really can open up things for you in terms of your working life. Okay, I think that makes sense. Okay. Next thing that I see here is the 2nd of July is the full moon, and that full moon is in Capricorn for you. Oh wow. It's conjoined with Pluto, and Pluto is the planet of rebirth and giving new life. And the full moon is a time of blossoming anyway. It's in the sign of Capricorn, which has to do with work, and it's in your 3rd house of communication. And what that means is by communicating, by engaging with information like newspapers, by speaking to your colleagues, by speaking to the boss, by making phone calls, you can reinvigorate and you can transform your working life. And the key to doing that is to keep your eyes and ears open. So around the 2nd of July, I think you can find a new position. I think you can find a better paid job. I think you can find that promotion. I think there's a way forward and something opens up for you. Saturn squares Venus from the 3rd of July through until the 15th of August. And Saturn represents restriction and structure and putting things under the microscope. It's in Scorpio in your first house. And what that means is I feel that you feel somewhat bored and flat about what you've achieved in your working life. I think you've disappointed yourself a little bit. I think what you've said, you know, when we're children, teachers at school always say you can be anything you want to be. And I think you took that on board. And I think the way your current reality doesn't match the dreams that you had for yourself. And what the chart is saying is that don't give up on those dreams. The way things are right now isn't the end game. Just because you're in a job that doesn't match your future right now, that doesn't mean that you have to give up on your dreams. Take up your dreams again, apply yourself to what it is you love, discover new opportunities, and you will find what you're looking for, and that sense of disappointment will cease. Because I really see for you, Scorpio, that you can transform your working life. If you're retired and you are disappointed with the way your gardening has gone, or your painting, or your whatever it is you work at, because we all work at all stages of our lives, it's the same thing. Look at your hopes and dreams, don't give up on those, take practical actions, feel your way through that process and make it happen in future. It's not over yet. The Sun trines Neptune from the 24th of June and it continues that relationship. A trine is when two planets are 120 degrees away from each other, and it continues our relationship through until the 9th of June. Now, Neptune is the dream planet of what you aspire to, what you feel most strongly, the unmanifest, what you want to get to. And the Sun is your ego. It's who you are as a person, your personality. Neptune is in Pisces in the 5th, and your Sun is in Cancer in the 9th. So what I feel for you is between this time, end of June to almost the middle of July, dear Scorpio, is that you want to be in a relationship. You want to be in love. You want to, again, fix the disappointments of the past, of the relationships that didn't work out, and you want a family of your own, and you're really strong and have a strong desire to make that happen. So if you have that desire, please don't resist it. Go on dates. Go find your perfect dream woman, your perfect dream man. If you have a desire, it's there for a reason, okay? It's not just the universe torturing you and saying, oh, I've got a desire for something I can never have. If you have the desire, you have the ways and means of achieving that desire. So please go for it. That is with you until the 9th of July. If you ignore it, it doesn't go away. It'll niggle at you. So take some practical action to make that happen and to make it a reality in your life. Mercury goes into Cancer on the 9th of July. And that's in your 9th house. There's a lot of activity in your 9th house, Scorpio. You've got Mercury now in Cancer, you've got your midheaven in Cancer, you've got Mars in Cancer, and you've got the Sun in Cancer, all in your 9th house. So you're exploring what makes you feel good. You're exploring different options. Does it make you feel good to travel? Do you want to learn more? Do you want to be with someone new? But it's about growth, it's expansion, and I think you're looking to expand your emotional life. With Mercury in Cancer, that really helps you to communicate your desires with yourself and with other people. So you're clear on what you want, and it's important to embrace that and to really, that's the thing, is it's one thing to get clear on something, but it's another to take action. And the clarity is there. I would urge you to really get active around what it is you want and to get it. You know, it's one thing I want a girlfriend, but if I stay in my house all day, I'm not going to get her. Okay. Another T-square occurs on the 11th of July, and that's between Saturn and the Moon, and it peaks, so the solution is in your 10th house. This again is about not listening to the limitations that are presented to you by other people that prevent you from realizing your hopes and dreams. And what this T-square is saying, that if someone says to you, okay, I appreciate that you're not happy with the position you're in, this is me talking as the boss, but we don't have any openings right now, try again in a year. Then it's not your job to say, okay, I'll wait a year, because that company could be bust in a year. It's your job to say, what is it I love to do and what can I do right now and how am I going to do that? And if you're presented with that kind of situation where you're given no hope of progression and you're completely bored and disappointed with where you are right now, then take a risk and do it your own way and see if you can make it better. Because that's when we feel good about ourselves, when we don't just accept the limitations offered to us by other people. It's when we push against those and we say, well, that's your opinion, but I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to speak to the universe. I've got a desire to succeed, and my God, my universe is telling me that it's time for me to act, to move forward. I'm going to listen to that. I'm not going to listen to Mr. Smith over there and to Mrs. Jones. I'm going to do it my way. And that's when you feel good about yourself. And while I was looking at the camera just then, it was 11:11, which is a gate. It's a way forward. So that's what this reading is telling me for you this month, dear Scorpios, to progress and to walk through that door. Okay, Mars has been in conjunction with the Sun for the whole of June, and it stops that conjunction. A conjunction is when two planets are together in the same position and blend their energy. And they stop blending their energy on the 12th. So you stop being so forceful about finding this thing that you love. So try and do it before the 12th. Try and use these energies that I've just mentioned before the 12th. The other thing that comes to an end is the opposition between the Sun and Pluto, and that stops on the 14th. And this is another area of friction where it's like, how can I transform this? What else can I learn? How can I expand? What new experiences can I bring into my own consciousness? That finishes on the 14th. So if you do want to experience new things, if you do want to meet new people, go traveling, I would suggest and recommend that you do that at the beginning of July before the 14th. Venus conjuncts Jupiter from the 17th of June, and it stays in conjunction, again that connection and blending of energy, until the 13th of August, so almost 2 months. And that is in the sector, oh, I'm so excited for you, it's in the sector of your career. So the planet of love, the planet of good luck, both sit in your career house, the 10th, and say, hey, we're going to make this person lucky. We're going to help them find what it is they love to do, and we're going to make that a reality. So expect great things in your career. Expect good things to happen. They're going to be much more compatible with what you care about than they are right now. And that sense of disappointment is going to go out the window because the lucky planet is ensuring that you find what it is you care about. So I'm so excited for you. And you deserve it, Scorpio. That's great. The new moon occurs on the 16th. And that is, again, in the sector of your 9th. So how can I expand? How can I grow? And that's a big theme for you. It's an important month for setting intentions. So really, what do you care about? What do you love? What direction do you want to move in? Please spend some time focusing on that on the 16th, because we do have a double moon this month. I will touch on that at the end. But whatever you put, what intentions you put out there will blossom and culminate quite quickly. So try and find your ideal job before the 14th, 15th. Then on the 16th say, okay, I've decided that I am going to be a candy maker. And then you plant that intention and you watch it grow by yourself, because the new moon will give it a life of its own. And it will bring that career of you being a candy maker into reality. But you've got to get clear on what you want to do. Uranus squares Mars from the 16th, so the same day, until the 2nd of August. And Uranus is the rebel, and it's the miraculous and the unexpected. That sits in your 6th house in Aries, which means that new beginnings in your career are very, very likely. And then it connects with Mars in your 9th. So the key to activate these things is to take action. To dream big, to allow yourself to get real with what you want to do, but then to act on your feelings and not just languish and wait for things to appear. Jupiter and Venus are going to be helpful in creating those things. They're going to make you lucky, but you do have to get out there and put the work in, put the legwork in. You have to kind of show up every day to make these things happen. But Scorpio, so far, this month looks the best for you. Out of all of the signs that I've done so far for this month, it looks like your working life is going to transform, and it's going to transform into just growing exponentially and making you really, really happy. Venus goes into Virgo on the 19th. And that occurs in your house of hopes and dreams and friendships and social life. And that's interesting because you become much more discerning about what you want, which to me indicates that a lot of opportunities do open up for you and you actually get to choose which one you prefer. Another T-square happens on the 19th of July, and it stays there until the 29th. So this is a problem, a challenge, and a solution that crops up and stays there for 10 days. So quite a big chunk of this month. And this is again between what new ways of communicating, what can I add to myself, and again it's highlighted that spirituality and connecting with God's will for you. And I use the word God, you know, as they use it in the 12-step tradition. So God as you understand it. Could be the universe, it could be source, it could be good orderly direction, G-O-D. It could be gift of desperation, G-O-D. Whatever you understand that concept of God as, by connecting with God, that's what's going to help you expand in the right direction. And you know, it's so interesting that we live in a time where God has become something that is such a problem, because Christianity, I feel, and I'm sorry to be controversial, but I really feel has failed a lot of us, because when I was a child, I was taught that there were certain things about me that God wasn't going to like, and I was presented with this hateful old man sitting on a cloud who was going to get me because there were things about me that were wrong. And that's not right, because God created me the way I am because He wants me to be that way. And He's my partner. He wants me to succeed in life. So it's not about creating distance between you and God and this horrible, big, judgmental person. It's about the source of who you are. You're perfectly held in God at all times. It's about you working with that loving higher power to make the best of your life. So by finding a way to connect with that, you will find ways to expand and grow in the right direction that you want to grow in. Okay, so that's the T-square. Mercury then goes into Leo on the 24th. And that really makes you fired up about the career opportunities, prospects, and I really think things actually start to get moving by this time of the month. And then the next day there's a grand trine in water between Chiron in your 5th house in Pisces, the moon in Scorpio in the 1st house, and your midheaven in the 9th. So the way you feel, the sense of disappointment has now been transformed, and you will find an expansion in your career. So whatever happens for you, Scorpio, whatever you decide to do, by taking the action, I really think something will open up. Either you change your job, or you get a promotion, or you find a different way of doing your job that provides you with more meaning, but there will be that shift. And you will feel, by the end of this month, I promise you, by the end of July, you will feel better about the work that you do for the world, for the universe, than you did at the beginning of July. Because there will be a change that will improve that circumstance for you. Virgo goes into retrograde on the same day, on the 25th. And Virgo is in Venus. Venus goes retrograde on this day, okay? And Venus is in Virgo at the moment. And all the personal planets retrograde. So Mercury retrogrades, that's the most famous one. Venus retrogrades, and so does Mars. And this Venus retrograde is from the 25th of July until the 8th of September. And it's a time to reassess and to cool off a little bit and to decide what it is you love. The fact that it retrogrades for you neutralizes it and gives you a really strong purpose and intuitive sense of what it is you love, especially in your working life, and what your hopes and dreams are and how you can realize those. So it works uniquely for you this month. And then finally we finish July on the 31st with another full moon, which is what I touched on earlier. Usually in a month you have one full moon. We had one on the 2nd, that was in Capricorn. But once in a blue moon we get 2 full moons in a month. And that's why that second full moon is called a blue moon, because it happens so rarely. The next one is on the 31st of January 2018. And this blue moon happens on the 31st, and it's in Aquarius in your 4th house. So a full moon anyway is a blossoming, is a culmination point. It's like a flower opening up, okay? It's done. It's growth, 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 and then full moon, done. There are 2 in this month, which means all of these things that have been happening for you, resolving the sense of disappointment, picking up your hopes and dreams, they are flowers that open up and shine and show their beauty and have a life of their own by the end of the month. And this second full moon in Aquarius is about understanding what your purpose is. So I am so excited for you, Scorpio, because I think you really figure a lot out this month. You really, really have your head in the right place. You really get it. You connect with the universe, and you really transform your life for the better as a result of the work that you do in July. It's going to be an amazing month for you. If you'd like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. You can email me. The address is readings@gregoryscott.co.uk. And please remember to subscribe to the channel. Have a great month, and I'll speak to you soon.